Hello and welcome to Recorem's third series workshop with another company that has come on board to tell about what they're up to and what they're doing. This is Laksh Mittal, the business lead at Recorem, joining here to tell you about what we're currently offering, what we're up to, and what is the current new company which has partnered with us coming on board to tell you about what they are offering as well as what they have in you know uh, in their boxes for this 2023. With that, to tell you about what Recorem does, Recorem is basically a platform where hiring companies can get top passive talent through untapped channel pools like exclusive events and communities. Okay, we help you filter, screen, and source talent very in a fast and efficient manner. Okay, and we're totally catered towards the Web3 space, and how we do it is basically the revenue that we generate is basically decentralized and distributed with a revenue share, smart contract, which is given to exclusive communities as well as the people to apply who apply to jobs. That's where we understand that decentralization and giving back to the community is very necessary, and that's where Ecorum comes in to disrupt the hiring opportunity in the market. With that, we have Polytrade's founder Piyush here today, who will be joining us to tell us about what is Polytrade up to, what is Polytrade about, okay, as well as what is Polytrade going to be offering to its customers, to its market, as well as what it has for 2023. So here's Piyush here. Hi Piyush, how are you doing?
Hey, hi Lakshya. Thank you so much for having me here.
Right. I hope you can hear me properly, right?
Yeah, you're audible. Perfect.
Okay, awesome. So how are you doing?
I'm doing good. In fact, I'm in India traveling right now, looking for a couple of
Okay.
projects out here. So, yeah, all good. Thank you.
So which part of India are you in right now?
I'm in Hyderabad right now.
Oh, okay. And what brings you to India? Like, is there like
Yeah, a couple of projects which we are expanding into India. So, a couple of
okay,
recruitments as well going on. So, yeah, that's the reason. But
okay,
yeah, I'm based out
amazing.
of Dubai.
Okay,
And,
okay,
yeah.
okay. So tell
So,
us, Piyush, how did you enter the space? Okay, what fascinates you about Web3 and the blockchain technology, and what is that one thing that keeps you going to build in this particular industry?
So, Lakshya, it would be prudent if I give you a little bit background.
Okay,
So, I've been a founder since last 10 years
okay,
into trade finance space, Web two, hardcore Web two space, and we have been doing invoice financing, factoring, supply chain finance, warehouse finance, all sort of trade finance, which is mostly non-banking products uh, as an alternate finance space to help SMEs grow. Okay. I started in 2014 as a founder, as an entrepreneur. Been 6 years, 7 years into this industry now. Expanded our reach to Middle East, Southeast Asia, UK, and India, of course. We've done more than $500 million of financing during these 7 to 8 years, and finally, it was a serendipity which happens or happened most of the times when good things about to happen. I met Sandeep from Polygon, and he explained to me the use case of blockchain, how it can transform the whole finance space, and he said that it is very important for us to bring Web2 founders into Web3 who can bring that expertise of the industry and adopt the Web3 and the blockchain technology into it. Uh, it was a pretty strong pitch, I'll be honest with you. I got sold and moved into Web3, brought down a paper, white paper for almost 3 months, and they told me that and to buy blockchain, what can be used by Web3. So, cut short, in one line, if I can tell you what Polytrade is a lending protocol which brings real world asset sustainable yields to DeFi, which were largely missing from this ecosystem. And also, because DeFi has created a new source of liquidity, which was not available in the Web2 space, this DeFi liquidity is finding its channel into the real world assets. So, I'm doing continue what I have been doing all these years is to provide liquidity to SMEs. Now, the channel or the source of that liquidity is DeFi. That's one thing, and
right.
I think as far as our yields are concerned, we have almost 9 to 10% yields, which we are passing on to the DeFi users, which was again not available in all these, within the crypto space at least. So yeah,
Okay,
that's the background about.
so that sounds really amazing. I see what you're trying to do in this space because I certainly feel that the whole financial option where people would want to, understand how to basically grow their money as well is also a very important thing, correct? And lending
Correct.
and all the things that you guys currently are offering are potentially things which can actually, bring value to the industry as well, right? So with that, Piyush, why do you think it is actually necessary to have a decentralized finance in this space in respect to what Polytrade is offering?
So again, looking at spending a decade almost in Web two, I can tell you something that there are so many inefficiencies which exist in Web two space. The scams, the frauds, the fake invoices. I mean, I'm just talking about my industry. The global industry has multifold problems, but in within trade finance, we have seen a lot of scams and frauds which happen, right? And that is happening because there is no layer in which the financial institutions talk to each other, right? So that's a very big problem in Web2 space. That if I reach out to a bank to borrow money against a particular invoice, I can go to 10 financial institutions at the same time and borrow money against the same invoice. So what I am doing is using the same instrument and getting multiple financing against it. Now, of course, I will be able to pay only one. So that means I will be creating scams or frauds into multiple other banks or institutions, right? Um, Rejection rates were super high. There were unnecessary delays in the processes. There was no centralized, I would say, depository where all the data was available, right? So all these issues are we are able to try to solve through Web3, and what it means is you're bringing a decentralized repository of all the data, all the invoices. You are providing buyer, supplier, unique identities, and you are making sure that none of these invoices are kind of refinanced. And ideally, what we mean is that once the data is on blockchain, it's immutable, right? And that means um, you know. Uh, should I continue? You Okay. So yeah. So basically, when you are on a blockchain, the data becomes immutable. What that means is if one invoice is put on chain and all the lenders can access this database, they can figure out
Right,
that this invoice has been never financed before or has been financed before. So all the
right,
scams and frauds will get out of the system, right? Now again, in the Web2 space, you see a lot of middlemen who will keep eating margins. So Lakshya, a
correct.
very basic thing. You're sitting on $1 million today in, let's say, US, and you want to bring that money
Okay.
to a SME. Ideally, you will put that money into a bank. The bank will lend this money to some XYZ. That XYZ will send to somebody else, and then finally, the way it reaches to SME, you are earning hardly 1 or 2% on your money in a bank, while that end party is paying 10%, right? So
Yeah,
where is this gap
agreed.
of 8% gone out? It is gone to the middleman, right? The
Mm-hmm.
whole concept of decentralization is to remove this middleman from the equation. Can Akshay directly put his $1 million to the SME and earn 7-8% yield on it, right? That's the kind of blockchain infrastructure we are creating, and we are removing all these intermediaries from the chain.
So, do you think don't you think that would actually also, increase, how should I say it, the way things work in a DeFi protocol, right? So it's basically like whatever things that you guys are offering might actually help DeFi to extend and uh, enhance different fields as well, where it can be used in various, lending, trading, as well as we have shareholding things around that as well,
Anything,
right?
anything which is there into a very centralized manner
Correct.
can be brought up on blockchain and create a decentralization around it, right?
Right.
There should not be a central authority taking decisions. There should not be a one person taking a decision whether I should finance this invoice, whether I should lend against this asset, whether I should place this real estate. I mean, that
Correct.
decision should not be centralized and sitting with one person, because that one person
Okay.
can be corrupt in his own ways. While when it's a community, when it's a governance, those problems are taken out of the system.
Exactly. Right. So, okay, with that, why don't you tell us like what is currently Polytrade diving into what is Polytrade currently offering to its clients, customers. Okay, what are the features, and if you have any demo or like your website to show that for, you can share your screen and show us what all is currently Polytrade offering.
Sure. So let me share one particular slide with you that will
Definitely.
be able to give you an idea that exactly you are able to see my screen now.
Yeah, just give us a moment, it will be on screen. Yes, it is here.
Okay, so I'm not going diving into the whole document here, but just to give you
Okay.
the whole idea of Polytrade at a glance. So Polytrade has two sides of the equation. One is the borrower which comes on board by going to a
Mm-hmm.
portal. Right? Now there is a DeFi lending protocol where you or anybody from the planet can connect his MetaMask on any wallet and
Right.
deposit USD to start earning yields right away. Right? So there is a
Okay.
DeFi lending protocol. Now let me explain you the process. So what happens is a borrower comes on our portal, uploads his
Okay.
invoice, uploads his KYC, uploads his XYZ documents. The moment data is submitted, the data automatically moves to our underwriting engine. Once it goes
Mm-hmm.
to the underwriting engine, we source almost 100 parameters from various Web2 sources to make sure that we are not giving money to, or say, our underwriting process is totally digitized. I would say in that way, right? Once the underwriting decision happens, and if it is a no, of course, transaction gets declined. If the underwriting engine says yes, then that particular invoice becomes a NFT and moves on chain.
Okay.
And that's where the DeFi lending protocol comes into play and buys that NFT from the repository.
So, okay, to understand, it's basically like a smart contract gets converted to NFT. Is that so?
No, the physical invoice which we are talking about
Okay.
actually gets converted to NFT, right?
Okay.
And
Okay.
then so that's what we call that platform we call is IV. Now IV is basically
Mm-hmm.
tokenization and invoicing platform, right? So any invoice, any IV's capability is today to do any asset, it can convert into NFT and bring it on
Right.
chain,
Okay.
right? The
Okay.
moment it comes on chain, it can be bought directly through a smart contract using our DeFi lending product.
Okay.
The moment
Okay.
this invoice is being purchased, the liquidity goes to the actual borrower in
Okay.
in his bank account, right?
That works
Now,
out.
now final stage is, let's say Polytrade wants to further sell this NFT to somebody else, right?
Hmm.
The moment we buy this NFT, we immediately put it onto a marketplace, which is again owned by us, right?
Okay.
Idea is that we understand that DeFi has a very limited liquidity today, right?
Right.
If I can churn the same liquidity multiple times, I'll be able to cater much larger audience. I'll be able to cater to much larger SMEs. And in this process, let's say, for example, if I have $10 million today, I can
Hmm.
rotate this $10 million probably 10 times a year and do trades of $100 million because I'm
Hmm.
constantly reselling my invoices to the DeFi people,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So this is in a nutshell what Polytrade does.
So,
Um,
just to ask, is it like specific to a chain or specific to any network, or is it agnostic to every network, every chain?
as I mentioned, I was pretty impressed by what Polygon was doing, and
Okay.
in 2 years, Polygon has done wonders. We all have seen.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we built
Definitely.
our protocol on Polygon, but
Okay.
as we expand further, because we are sourcing liquidity, because it's a DeFi lending protocol, we do not want to bound ourselves on a particular chain because the liquidity is sitting
Right.
on multiple chains, and we want to scout for any liquidity out there, right? So now our next step is to move multi-chain from here, and we are opening our lending protocol to multiple chains going forward. So that's next build
Okay.
is on its way now.
So, okay, another question here, Piyush. The NFT that basically every invoice is becoming. Is there a reward system or is there a gamification around that as well for customers?
So Lakshya, see, at one side we are having a DeFi play. At one side we have Web3 Janta, right? But look at the other side, the SMEs who are sitting in Maharashtra
Hmm.
or NCR region, or say for example Africa, they are not well versed with even internet today, right?
Okay.
I do not want to create any hurdles for them to
Hmm.
understand blockchain, to understand decentralization. What
Right.
what they want in necessity is buy, sell their invoice and get money. For them, it's as simple as that, right? So we
Right.
have kept our UI UX very, very simple for borrowers. We are
Hmm.
not
Okay.
exposing them to any Web3, any crypto, any DeFi kind of play. right? Because
Right.
end of the day, they need a very simple infrastructure where they can submit their invoice and they get their money. It is as simple
Right.
as that for them, right? Yes, we believe that we are building an infrastructure 5 years down the line. When these people slowly and slowly start understanding what is happening, we will
Mm-hmm.
start offering them uh, benefits in form of trade tokens. So the more business you put on on the Polytrade, you will get more incentives through our tokens, through our
That
currency,
that is that is that
right?
is an awesome idea.
And same way, DeFi guys get 7% on USDC, but then we top it up using trade tokens to increase their yields to 15, 16, 18, 20. I mean, that depends on which pool we are opening. So both sides will get utility. Token will get utility on the
Right.
buyer side as
Right.
well as on the lender side. And now we are this quarter we are targeting to set up our governance. So that
Okay.
means
Okay.
our token holders will be able to stake their tokens and start earning the protocol fees. So
Okay.
one step at a time, but yeah, we are moving slowly towards decentralization.
So, do you think are there any problems that you're facing? Do you think is there any specific thing which you think is solvable? Okay, there is a solution, but there is a certain lack. Maybe there can be lack of knowledge in the industry, lack of awareness as well. But is there a problem that you think your particular segment is lacking or is facing?
So, so Lakshya, when we look at trade finance, the
Okay.
underlying is a trade which happened between two
Okay.
parties, right?
Right.
Moving that trade on chain is a mammoth of a task today. Larger
Okay.
companies like shipping companies, logistics companies, IBM, all these are trying for last 4 5 years to bring this data on chain. But it's not
Okay.
easy because there is tons of history, tons of data which cannot
Right.
be moved on chain. It will be super expensive, right?
Right.
So these are the small hurdles. We believe that as we proceed forward, we are creating a depository of data on chain, and maybe this data will be usable by credit underwriters 5 years down the line because they will have
Hmm.
5 years of history on chain, right?
Right. Right.
So these are some small hiccups because historical data cannot be imported on blockchain. It will become too expensive. It will consume a lot of space, right? So these are the reasons we face underwriting becomes difficult and we have to go through Web2 sources to fetch data today.
Okay.
But we believe that in eventually all this data will be on chain and will be doing
No,
underwriting
no,
on chain.
definitely. I certainly feel there is like the data management system can actually improve with this. Okay, and actually
Correct.
can help a lot of things. Like if I just try to keep data as a unit. Okay, identification management, supply chain management. Most of the things can be
Correct.
actually settled down into a very how should I say it, structured manner. Okay, which can
Yeah.
actually
Yeah.
help in modulating and as well as moderating future products and even data. Correct?
So last one of the latest things which we incorporate is the ZK ID,
Oh,
which
okay.
means every buyer and supplier in the Web2 space will be getting a blockchain identifier from us,
Correct. Oh, wow.
right?
That's
Again,
amazing.
you can say
Yeah.
it's a very futuristic product, but imagine that 3 years down the line, if a bank wants to fund a buyer, and he would ask him that, do you have a blockchain identifier? And if he doesn't have,
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
means he's not a credit worthy party,
Correct.
right?
Yeah, yeah. I agree. I
So
totally agree.
we started that because once you have a blockchain identifier, then every invoice which he's submitting on the platform will be able to be transparently available on blockchain, right?
Right, right.
So idea is to create that infrastructure today and take it to the next level.
Okay, so with that, how do you see Polytrade going ahead in the next 1 year, and then like in 2023, what are your future goals? How do you think Polytrade is wanting to change the space in the segment you're working in?
So So, Lakshya, I think one of the biggest differences between us and any existing DeFi protocol in Web3 is that most of the protocols are marketplaces where
Okay.
they are, especially real world asset marketplaces, right? We are the only company which is an asset originator. So, we go
Hmm.
identify a borrower, do the underwriting, bring the invoice
Right.
on chain. So, we coined a new term called proof of trade. What that
Oh,
means is
wow.
that the underlying trade, the transaction which we have funded, the underlying instrument is in our custody. That
Correct.
means if tomorrow the party's default or anything happens, we will be responsible for collecting money from the buyer or if the buyer also defaults, we will go to the insurance and claim this money, right? So
Right.
idea is that when there is an underlying instrument in your control, talk about real estate, right? If
Right.
you're lending against real estate and you don't have a real estate in your hand, how would you how would you act in the times of default, right?
Correct. Correct.
So we believe that if you ask me, it's my baby, so I can always be very positive about it. But this year,
Definitely.
2023, we are targeting to cross at least $50 million TVL.
Oh,
And
that's great.
by 2025, we want to become one of the largest players in real world assets.
Hmm.
Of course, we can't compete with Maker and such players because they are minting stable coins.
Okay.
But purely as a DeFi lending protocol, we aspire to become the largest DeFi protocol in the RWA space.
No, no, definitely. I am like in full-fledged support with you guys. I really feel that you guys can,
Thank you.
definitely get this, uh, started and done in a manner where your team should be very enthusiastic and hustling around to get this done, and
Yeah.
I really support with that. So like Piyush, any specific learnings, any specific last thoughts would you which you would want to give to the community, okay, to the people, okay, which you think in your journey has
I
helped you and brought you to this place?
So I think Lakshay, one of the biggest things which I even see today is the new age founders which are coming into Web3.
Right.
They are not able to identify good resources. Number one.
Okay.
So most of the times, resource management is a big problem in Web3 because
Hmm.
it's a very small space. Uh, there are not there are not enough recruitment companies also today who can help you identify a right talent, right? So that is one big gap which I think you guys are trying
Yeah.
to solve,
Thank you.
which can be a very big change, right? Um,
Definitely.
and then I believe that so as you rightly said, we are a team of 21 people today,
Okay.
spanning across Dubai, India, and US, and
Okay.
amazing team, right? So you have to keep motivating your team. You have to keep giving them that feeling of ownership in the company. So that's how you retain good
Right.
talent, and that's how you keep them motivated to work for you. So I think
No,
resource
no,
management is
definitely.
one of the biggest problems in Web3, and you guys
Okay.
are doing a great job.
This is one of the most different answers I've heard in a while. Okay, about what is that one last learning that you should have and you should communicate. And I really
because
think this is
because
very
even today
thoughtful.
even today, Lakshya, there are a couple of roles for which we keep looking for resources, and
Right.
we keep getting disappointed, right? Because DeFi is a very new age industry.
Right.
You don't have
Right.
people who have spent years there, right?
Correct.
You find guys who have done 1 year, 2 year, 3 year cycles max.
Correct.
Either they lack maturity or they lack
Yeah.
experience, uh,
That is there.
and that becomes very tough for us to hire somebody
Right.
who can meet the fixed parameters and meet our requirements. So
No, no. Now you should not worry about that. We are in the space. Okay, Web3 is our market now. Okay, we'll get you the candidate that you're looking for.
definitely, thank you so much, Aglaksha, and good luck to you guys. Have a great stint at Denver. I guess you guys are
Definitely.
going there,
Thank you.
right?
Yes,
So,
we are.
and I'll catch up with you soon in person sometime.
No, no, definitely. I am actually currently in India only, and
Okay,
currently in Bangalore. Okay, so we
got
can
it.
definitely catch up.
Sure.
But thank you so much, Piyush, for taking our time.
Thank you for
Okay,
hosting me. Thank you so much.
and let's just make the best out of it.
Definitely. Have a good day.
Okay.
Take
Yes.
care.